report, file, new. Okay, like tables and pages, reports also have triggers. We have quite a number of triggers on the report. So if I click on this, these are some of the reports that are some of the triggers that we have. You know what the documentation trigger does? We have on initialize on init report, then on pre-report and on post-report. I'm going to give you documentation that explains the meaning of all these triggers. But maybe just take you on post-report. This happens once the report has finished executing. We have normally two types of reports. We have reports that can show visual output, and we also have reports that can process. That we have processing reports. They not give out output, but they can be used to perform different actions. If you recall very well, in I think the first lesson we had, I wanted to delete a student from the student table. Remember that? I designed the report, and here on after get record, I will show you that trigger. I entered code that was deleting students from my student list. So there are scenarios whereby you may need to have a report that processes data. An example could be, do you know how to close a fiscal year? If you look at the code that closes a fiscal year, close. Let me just go here to the application. If I type, I have first go to accounting periods. Okay, you will export that, but my point here is that some reports can display data, others can be used to run some routines. So let me start with reports that can be used to display data. So if I go to my development, I can create a new report, file new. Now, reports, we have what we call data items and columns. Data item is like a source table where you want to pick your data from. Okay, so we want to design a report. We want to design a report card for this student. We have the student name and the marks down. Yeah. So what will be our data items? What are the tables that are being used here? Are you sure? Yes. Yes, we have the score header and the score line. So here I can type the score header as my first data item, then the name will come automatically. Now, this score header, the moment I add the data item, in the reports I will get more triggers. Yeah? Before adding the data item, I had only these 4 triggers. Now, after adding a data item, I have again the on pre data item, then on after get record and on post data item. So these are triggers, and we shall look at them later on. So after adding a header, okay. Okay, after adding the header, I can come and I add what? And I add the fields, okay? The fields are the columns. So I can either add one column at a time by clicking at the square head and then click that, or I can use the field menu. Then all my columns will show up. Then I can select all of them and I say, okay. Do you want to add the selected fields to the field menu? Yes. So I have my fields added here. So I also have this option, include caption. If these fields have captions, I can also tick this. We shall see what these work, how they work. So we can also add another data item, because remember in our document page we had both the score header and the score line. So this in the score line, this is where we are going to pick the subjects and the marks. So even here, I can come and I add these subjects. Okay, I don't need the line number and the document number. Okay, so I can save my report, give it an ID, and then the name. So I can call it maybe student report card. Then I press OK. All right. So that's how you design the. This is like the data set. This is the data that the report will be using. Now, if you remember very well, we had the relationship between the score header and the score line. What was that relationship? The document number in the score line is the same as the number in the what? The header. So if you're designing this report, you don't want a given student to see marks for other students on their report. So now to make that tie, you still come here. If you realize this must be indented, yeah? This data item must be indented if it is at the same level, like this one. If I just make it the same level, then I won't be in position to establish the relationship because they are on the same level. So this must be indented because this is one level. Then if I click on the properties, we have this property. The data link reference is score header. This comes automatically after you making the report indented very well. Then where you establish the relationship between the document number and the number is this property called the data item link. So here in the data item link, I can click my assist edit here, and I say where I'm in the score line table. So I want where the document number in the score line table is the same as what is the reference link. If I click here, it takes me to the score header table where the document number is the same as number. Then I click OK. So this relationship will ensure that if I'm printing out for one student, the report I get is the marks I get down are tied to that student. So I have my relationship there. So let me save this. Now, given that I don't have Visual Studio installed on this computer, let me see. I'm going to use a report builder that ships with nav, so I will make it yes. But you'll be doing this using Visual Studio. So if I close this application, I just want my changes to take effect. 2018 development. So I go to 50,000. This is my report card design. So if I go to view, now we are going to design the visual output. This has been the data set of our report. Now to design the visual output, we use Visual Studio. And after installing your Visual Studio, you go to view, layout. This will automatically launch Visual Studio, okay? But I don't have Visual Studio installed, so I'm opting for a report builder. But Visual Studio will give us more features. Yeah? So the moment you design your layout, or rather your data set, then to design the layout, you go to View, Layout, and then it will launch Visual Studio, and then you will have Visual Studio opened. Now, after opening this, we already have our layout. We can start by adding a header, insert a page header, and we can also insert a page footer. Okay. Now, after that, we right click. Here you can see to add an item to the report. On the Insert tab, click the item and drag the dataset in the field. Okay, we can do that, or we can right click here and we say Insert Table. Okay. We are going to insert a table here. So if I click on Insert Table, I will see this table coming. Now, given that I already have my data set, I can come here in this table. I want to see, do we need a student number in this table? Okay, we can use it just for testing purposes. Then here I can add the student number. Then I can add the full name. I can insert a column to the right, and I can add the total mark, and then I can also add the average mark. So after doing this, I save. Okay. After saving, I close my Visual Studio or Report Builder. Then the moment I come here and I click, it will bring a very long message. The layout of the report that is changed by another application. Do you want to load these changes here? So if you want to load the changes you've made in the layout, you click yes. So now after clicking yes, my layout changes have been saved here. So I can click File, Save, and I click OK. The number of defined parameters is not equal the number of cells definition in. I don't know why it is bringing this error. Am I indenting these things well? Let me first delete this layout. Save. Oh. Okay, that saves. So if I come here and I go to my layout, then I insert a table, come here, add student number, rather document number, and full name. Let me first stop there, save this, close, come here, that long message comes, yes, file, save, okay, it has saved, yeah. Okay, now if I come now and I run my report, I expect some output. So this is my student report. So I can click preview. And once I click preview, this is what I have, yeah? I have this person 2 times, I have this person 2 times, also have this other person 2 times. Okay, so this is my why. Why do we have this? Eh? Because we have both the score header and the score line. And in my data item here, for each header, there are 2 words, 2 score lines. So we have 2 loops that are happening. So if I come here and I delete this data item and I click yes, then I come file, save, okay. If I now run my report again, I don't expect that You see, I'm now looking at only the score what? Header. So if I click preview, the score header has how many records? There are 3 records, yeah? So we have Olive tries. Okay. Because I've updated now the other one that was making the duplication. So these are the, let me delete this last one. But I'm left with only 2. This one has some good marks. And this one, anyway, I can delete any. Let me delete the last one. So if I, right now I know you know how you can pin a report on the action, rather on the ribbon. Just to go back, I can go to my card or my list. That is the scores or the scorer. Then design. Now for this, you read about the run object. You read about the run object. So here I can come and I say these are reports. And then I can call this a student report. Now under the report properties, I can set an image to reports. I know that that is already there, so I can simply just type report here as the image. But if you want to select an image, you can use this lookup. Then it will show you all the images that you can put. Then I can promote this. I can put it in the report section. I can make it big. Then under the run object, okay? Which object am I going to run? Report 50,000. Or if you know the name, you can type the name. So that is the report. So this is how you can call your report from. But this one I know you read. It was in the documentation I gave you. So I've added it under scores. So if I come back here and I go back to my exam scores, I'll see my report here in the report section. Even here in the reports, I've promoted it. Once you promote, if you don't promote, it will only be this side. But once you promote, it comes to the home tab. So right here, I can just click my student report, preview. And now I have 2 students on this report. So report, you can set filters here. So here I can click add filter. Okay, and I add a filter of what? Of the number of that report or the student I want. Then I come here and I select this. So you know how you can make these ones, yeah? Even the name up here. So if I select this and I click preview, it will only show me one person. So if I come back to report card, there are scenarios where I want it automatically to bring the filters here without me first clicking add filter. So in such scenarios, I can go to my report, design, then under the property of the data item, I can say the request filters. I can set the request filters, and then I come here and I say that I want somebody to either select a number or I want them to select the student number. So if I click OK, I have 2 request filters. If I escape and save this, then if I go back to my application, try running this report, are you seeing automatically I don't need to add a filter because I've made these ones request filters. Then you can also enforce someone to select a what? A filter. And that one I will show you later. But you remind me in case I forget to show you, but I'll show you how to add that. Now, if I click preview, you cannot give a client such a report. Yeah? It looks very ugly, isn't it? So, one, we need to add the marks for every student. Now, adding the marks, that brings us to another item called our marks are stored in score line, and then I add the fields for the marks. Now, after adding this, let me just redo this. I have to set my data link item where document number is the same as number. So if I press OK, then save this, I go back to my application, rather to my layout. This is number score line, but if I right click and I say create place order, then go to the values here. Okay, I wanted to show you the caption, how we can include the caption, but I will elaborate that later. But here you can as well say this is the number column. Instead of having all this, this is the student number column. But you can make this be picked from your captions there, so that once you change a caption property on the table, these fields also change automatically. So I have my report here. I can put some lines. I will highlight everything, and I put a border, say border all. So you can say I have some lines there. Then I want to add the scores. So if I click on right, and I say that I'm adding the subject number, the subject name. Oh, instead of the subject number, I can just put the subject name. I can name this to subject, and then I can put here the mark, okay? Mark score. Okay, now after putting this, I can save, close this, go back to my application, save, then come to file, run. If I preview this, okay, is it becoming better with the borders? Yeah, it is becoming better soil by soil. So I have my number. I don't think I need the number. I can get rid of that. Then also, I think it will be better if I group. You see, olive is appearing twice, amber is appearing twice. So I think it will be better if I group by the student number, so that I have one student up and then another student down. So let us do that. So to do that, I will go back to my layout, okay? Now here, how do we group by student number? So are you seeing here this section of details? Okay, first of all, I'm going to get rid of this student number field because I'm going to make it a group. So let me also get rid of this so that I have only full name and subject score. So if I save this and I see how now it looks like, if I go back to my application, okay, I have only the full name, and you know why I have this trace, eh? Because I have two tables. The first one is the score header, which is printing olive, and then the other one is the score line, which is printing the subjects. But the reason why I have this trace is because in the lines I have two records. Do we get this? I have two records in the lines. And if you remember in the data set that I designed, I indented, meaning that it will first print this, then it will print two of these. Yes, yes. Remember in the lines, we don't have full name. Do we have full name in the lines? The full name is in the header. So this first, the subjects are in the what? In the lines. And what is making this is this relationship that we've made. If you don't make this relationship, then your report will not appear like this. You're saying where document number here is the same as number here. So that's why it first prints all reports related to this olive, because they share the same document number. Then it also prints these other ones. So I may want olive to appear once. So I'm going to show you how to add a group. So under details here, okay. Are you seeing this drop down? Are you seeing this drop down? There's a drop down here. So I click on it and I say add group. And this is going to be a parent group, yeah, because it is going to enclose other children within. So if I click on parent, I will get this option here. And under this option, I can select what do I want to group by. Okay, I would have said full name, but there are cases whereby we may have two students with the same name. So the unique identifier here is the student number, isn't it? So it will be good for us to group by the student number, because if you say group by student name, if I have Maguba Emmanuel 2 times, then that will be the same report card, yeah? But their student number will be different. So I'll come here and I say group by student number. So there are other options of adding a group header and adding a group footer. Let me tick both of them to see how they work, and then I'll press OK. So if I press OK, are you seeing this column up? This is the header, okay? And this one down is the what? It's the footer, because if I had not ticked that, then these two columns wouldn't appear. So if I save this, and here up you can see the details, then up I have the what? The score header, okay? So I can save this. So I can add another, if I wanted to add another group here, I can also come here on this second one and I add another group. Probably that will be new assignment where you can have very many groups. So for me, I've added one group, close this, and let me also close this. I'll come here. After saving, if I go back here and I run, so in your assignment, you put both this action on the list and also on the card. So here I can preview, and if I click preview, how is that? Still not good, but at least I can see the student number here, okay? Now, instead of having the student number here, because what if I also delete this column and I have the name here so that it's not repeated twice? Don't you think that will be better? And then also, I need to find the total marks here, okay? I can also find the total marks. The subject is still there, math, English. We are going to see. Let us try it out. So if I come here, back to my report view, layout. So I can say, instead of having full name here, let me cut this. I can put it in this column for student number. So after putting the student number, I'm going to just put a full column. Also show me the full name of that student. So I don't need this here. Okay. I don't need that there. Then if I come here under the marks, I want to find the total mark. So here down, I can put total marks. Then I can copy this same field here of total marks, copy it, then put it down here, okay? Then after putting the same field that is up, I put it down. Then I simply right click this field and I say summarize by sum. Okay, I may want to make this last column bold, so I can click it and I do something like that. So if I save this, go back here, run my report again. So this is the report I have. Is it becoming good? It is becoming good, and the one we started with. So I have math, English, then total marks are there. Computer this, then I no longer have my name repeated, okay? Now, what if instead of having this name here, I put it up here, okay? Now, do you think that will be better? If I have the student name up, then their subject, student name up, then their subject, yeah? Than having them in this other column. This. Still, I don't think that will be good because I have a lot of space here, and I don't want to have this space is redundant. Yet it is just grouping this data. So I can move this here, then I get rid of this space. So let us do that. So back in our layout, I can first of all, I can merge these cells. So I can select both of them, right click and say merge cell so that it becomes one cell. Then I can copy, I can cut that, I paste it there. Let me just try to expand this. I can just put a dash, then also come here, cut, and then paste it there. We have age in the student score table. What about in the student? We have date of birth. Can we compute the age basing from the date of birth? So later that will be another field, yeah. We have a field for on the student table. We have date of birth, yeah. So, but we don't have age. So on that student table, I want you to add another field for age, and that age should be uneditable. You can write. We are adding age on that table, and that age should be uneditable. And all I want us to achieve is once I select a date of birth, we looked at date functions. Now using our date functions, I want you to compute for me the age of that person. And I want that age to be in decimals. Rather should we do integer? I don't want to see 1.5 years or 2.5. Okay, something like that. Then later on, you are going to bring that age on this report. Then we are going to bring that age on that report. So to come here, I'm going to delete this column. So this column, I right click and I said delete. Okay. So you see, as I'm deleting my column, my grouping is still there. I'm not losing the what? The grouping. What you should know is that the first thing you need to have all the fields displayed. Then once you display all the fields, you start grouping one by one and then deleting what has been grouped. So that is the methodology that I'm using. So I can also make this board by selecting my column and click board, then save this. Then after saving, close this, come back this side, file, save, okay. So if I run my report again, how is this? Is it better than what you started with? I could center it. Okay, so I can go back to my layout. Most of the times, the reports that we design are optimized for A4 papers, so it is good for you to, are you seeing this blank space? You right click, then you say report properties, and then you say the paper will be A4, and we shall start with the default portrait. I know you know the difference between this and this. Then I click OK. So if I save this, that is my report. Then I think it will be better if I add a logo. If I add a logo on this report, isn't it? So I can come up here, then say insert image. Okay. Maybe before inserting the image, you know that our logos are saved in the company information table, isn't it? So if I just go back to my company information, I have this logo called Cronus inserted here. So I want this can be any other logo. So I want this to come. I want the company name to come. Okay, this could be like the school name. This could be like the school name, yeah? So if I come back to my report, first, where is this information stored? In the company information table. So I come here, view, cal globals, and I declare a variable of type record that goes to company information. So if you look at the company information table, it only stores one record. It only stores one record. It's the same as the general ledger setup. It is the same as the other table that I gave you on the first day. Yes, that one. They only store one record. So how do we retrieve one record? If you are retrieving very many records, we are using record.get, then we pass the ID. Now here on this pre report, I can type company information dot get. Now, given that this one stores one record, I don't need to pass. It has no primary key. Okay, it has no primary key. We don't have a field for primary key. So that's how we retrieve our company information. So you would try and see. You try and see. But in most cases, once if I'm retrieving one record, I can use the get. The get, I find the get easier to use. Then after that, we know that an image is stored as a blob. Okay. Now, if you read the documentation, there is a function called calc fields. So, if you want to retrieve an image, you have to use that method calc fields. Then you pass the field in which that image is saved. So this image is stored as a blob, and if you want to retrieve it, we have to calc field. So this calc field also works for the flow fields. If you are retrieving flow fields, you may also need to do calc fields. Now I'm putting this code on pre-report. Yeah. As I prepare my report for output, that's when I'm calling the company information table. So after that, I have my variable. Then here in the score header, I can come and insert another row. So I can place is it F2 or F3 to insert? Is F3. Then come here, company information I need, the picture, okay? And I can give this a name. This will be my logo. Then still under company information, I'm pressing F3 to insert a blank arrow. I need the name of the company. So in the assignment, you add for me phone number, address, and city. So for me, I'm going to stop on the name. And this will be the name of the company. So I'm going to save this. Then go back to my layout. And now under my layout, I can simply right click here, insert. I insert a text field. I cannot insert, okay, insert a text box. Then in this text box, I need to have, now one of the greatest mistakes that people do, they write headers like this. Somebody can write Saint, maybe Stephen's College. Somebody can write the company name like that. So this is very wrong, yeah? Meaning that in case you want to reuse this report maybe for another school, you need again to go to all the reports and redesign them. So never do this, okay? If you want to retrieve company information related thing, always retrieve it from the company table, the way we've done. So instead of this is called hard coding. Instead of doing something like that, you right click, then I come here. If I click on the drop down, I can see my name. This is the name of the company, okay? I can make it a little bigger. I try to expand it. Then the font style that we normally use for reports is, how do you read this? So UI, this is the font style we normally use for our reports. So it is good to maintain that. Even the NAV standard reports use this font style. And we want to keep our application consistent. We want, when somebody prints a report, the style does not differ from the standard styles that we have in the application. Then after adding this, I can come here and I add a logo, or I can decide to put my logo to here. So I can right click, insert. I'm inserting an image. And then I go to, you can embed image in source code, but that is not also advisable, because each time if a school changes the logo, then you also have to go to the source code and then change that image. But the best thing is to get it from the database, okay? Then here you select which image I want to retrieve. I need my logo, okay? And you also specify the image type. What is PNG for? Okay, so here I have my logo. I can also go to the properties of this logo, the image properties, and I say that I can set the size. These are the options. Fit proportional. We set the image to fit inside the item while maintaining the aspect. So I can make it fit here. Or I can select original size. Size the item to accommodate the image. So it means that whatever size of the image I have, even if I have a small space here, the report will automatically resize itself to accommodate the image. So I normally prefer going with this because the image will remain in good form, even if I make this small like this. But if you go with this option of fit proportion, it means that it will force the logo to fit in this small box, okay? Do you get that? So here I can expand, but given that I've said the other option, then it has no harm. Then I can put that. Now let us see. How is our report? So I can put this long message comes, file, save, okay. Then come to student report, preview. That is too huge, yeah? Because I've said fit, that is too huge. So this is the size of the image. So it is adjusting the other thing, yeah? So I can go back to my report, view, layout. Now let me make my logo to be like of that size. Or I know schools prefer having the logo up, then the school name down. Let me reduce the size of this to maybe 16. I'm going to make it in the center. So here under the image properties, I can say under size, fit to size, okay? Resize image to fit inside the what? The item. So let me use this, then press OK. Then I may also be interested to see the person who printed this report. So I can come here, add a text box, okay? Then here, I say create properties. So here under values, I can click this function thing to see more values. Then I have built-in what? Built-in fields. So I can say I want to see the person who printed, not the person who entered the score, but the person who printed. So that one I can use the user ID. Then I press OK. So I will have my user ID here. I can make this a little bit smaller. Resize it. Then I can make it right aligned. Okay, that will show me the person who printed the report. Then I also want to see when this report was printed. So I'll copy these two timers. But I'm going to change that. I can also want to see which page. Does this report span 2 pages? So this one, I'm going to delete. I already have the user ID. So here I want to see the time when the report was printed. So you're going to add all these fields. Yeah? So I right click, go here, then come here. I go to built-in properties. I want to see the time. So I have execution what? Execution time. Click on that. Okay. I also want to see the page number. So I right click, create page order properties. Click on this, built-in fields. I want to see the page number. The current page number, which can be reset, blah, blah, blah. So I can have page number, then I put off date of pages in case you've seen that on quite a number of reports. For now, I'll just go with that. And then save this. Let me bring this a little bit up and also reduce on my header size. Let me make this like that. And also drag this here. Okay, something like that. So if I save this, so if I come back here on my report, so how is that? That's better. Eh? So I can enforce someone to specify a student number when printing this report. Okay, I can enforce someone to specify a student name so that I don't see all the students on the same report. So here I can see the user who printed. I can see the date and time. This is the first page. Then this is this. Then even under the reports properties, I can say, I can make, if I come here and I go to group properties, breaks, break each instance of the group. Let me see what that does, but I can also make each instance to appear on a fresh page. Okay. I can make each instance of the report to appear on a different page. So if I click preview, so here I have now two pages. Then once I click, go to the next page. Okay, I've lost my headers. I've lost my headers, but the point I wanted to bring home is that you can make each instance of the group. Maybe the headers are not supposed to be up, they're supposed to be just below the name so that they are not lost. So if I go back to view layout, so what I did was I came here, new properties, under the breaks, and I said do what? Begin each instance of a group. Yes, Mohammed.
Yes.
Do you have a question? No questions. Okay, let me proceed.
No. Yeah.
All right. So I have break. You've seen what break each instance of a group will do. Remember, my grouping is starting from the what? From the student number. So that's why this subject didn't go the other side. Yeah. Are we together? So if I want the subject to go there, it means it should be inside the group above. So if I come here and I now make my subject come here, Control V, then I also make my marks come here, Control V, then I get rid of this. I can also make this bold, save, close, come back here, save this. If I come back and I run, review, oh, so this was a poor grouping. It is repeating subject twice. Okay, I'll leave that. Maybe you will explore it. You will try and see how you can make it, but you can break each instance of the group on a separate page. So let me just go back to my layout. Let me see, insert, inside group, outside group above. Will this work? I think this would work. This will make the student not repeat because it is outside. Are you seeing these? These are repeaters, these dots that you see here. Are you seeing the three lines? Those are repeaters. So that's why this was repeating. But if I insert it outside this group, so let me delete this, save, go back here, come back to my report, try to print it. How is that? We have our student name, then we have the subjects and the total marks. If I click on the next, as if there's something that is changing. I think it is the spacing here. But you can see, I also have, so mean that if I send this to a printer, I will have report cards for students. So this is just a basic report, but as you design systems for maybe schools or what, they will give you how their report card looks like. Okay, they'll give you a template that this is the report card we want you to come up with. So you sit down, look at the report card, and before actually you start development, it's better to first look at the reports because the reports will tell you the way you're going to store your data in the system. So if you look at the report card, you will see that a report card has subjects, and then the subjects get the students have. So mean that in such situation we will have a header and lines, isn't it? Then you have a document page where you design your reports. Then at the end of the day, you can come up with such a report. So what you should know that each time you develop something, you must have a report. Okay, you must have a report that can show that. So I was telling you that you can enforce somebody to select a student. So here on pre-data, I can say if, is it on pre-data? Or on pre, on pre-data item of the score head, I can say if, I think should be here. If score header dot student number is equal to blank, then error. Please select a student, isn't it? So if I save this, will this one work? If I don't think so. If score header dot set filter student. Okay, this is not likely. This may not work. I don't expect it to work. Let me just run it and then I'll give you a reason why. So if I come here and I print my report and I click preview, that surprised me. I didn't expect it to work. So it is telling me please, meaning that if I want to print a report, I have to do what? Select a student. Are we still together? Okay, I think this is the problem. Yeah, it is not finding that filter. Whether you select it or not, it is not finding that filter. So if I come here, I can first say, I give you this. This will be your assignment. Let me note so that you can also think. Or we do it together. So if I go to view cal globals, I need to declare a variable. So I can say if score header dot set filter on students score header, we have dot set filter on the student number. That one I'll leave it to you. But it's possible. It is possible to enforce a filter. You think about it and see. It is possible to enforce a filter on a report. Reports also have request pages. So here, if I go to view, if I go to the report, I can go to view request page and I create a request page. As the name suggests, a request page will be a page. We've seen a request page before. If I run this report, this is a request page, yeah? This is a request page. So you can customize this request page. For example, I can decide to show details of the subject. I can have a report, now like this one, it is showing the details of the what? Of the subjects, yeah? But I can also, and so it's also showing the totals. So in this report, another thing, you add the average. You write, you add the average on this report. You can copy everything, then you summarize by average. That is very easy. Then you also add the best, should we call it the best score? The subject that this person has the highest mark, in other words. The highest mark is, so that one you can use the max, the maximum. All those are already here. If you try to, for example, if I copy that, you can summarize by, you can do all these. You can even count the subjects. Okay, you can even count the subject. I was talking about request pages. So I can come here and I create a request page. I can give it a name here. I can call it options. Okay. Under these options, I can reference a field. So I can go to view Carl Globals, view Carl Globals, then put here something like show subjects. This is going to be a Boolean. Or I can say show totals. Okay. This is going to be a Boolean. So here under my fields, I come and I select my what? My show what? Show totals. And I come here and I can also put show totals as the name. So that is a request page option. If I come here and I run this report, are you seeing this? The other time it was not there. It is show totals, but I may also want to create a group for it. So if I come back here, view request page, I can insert another column here by pressing F3, and I say let me create a group. This will be my options. Then I must indent this. That is under that what? That group. So if I save this, options already used. So I should not repeat myself with the name. So which one can I call? Let me call this my content. Okay. Now, if I come back and I preview this, isn't this better? I have a group of what? Of show totals. So if I don't tick this, I don't expect the total max to come. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And if I click this, then the total max do what? Appear. So right now our request. Yes, they appeared on both because we've not implemented the logic that makes, we've just added the Boolean, but the system doesn't know what is that Boolean going to do. So that's why they're appearing on both. So we have to write logic that makes that disappear. So I can come here, go back, view, layout. But before viewing the layout, I need to add my show options in the data set, isn't it? So that I can use it in my report. So I'll come here, add another column. I can add it at the extreme end. It was show what? Show totals. And I will name it show totals. Okay. So after adding that, I can go to my view layout. And then here, okay, I can right click this column because I want to toggle visibility of this column. So if I right click and I say row visibility, as a default, it is set to what? I can decide to hide it completely, or I can say show all hide based on an expression. So don't you think this one will work best? So I click on this, then I come here and I write my expression. So how do I write my expression? So I have here some operations. That will be logical. No? Will it be, which operation will it be? It will be a program flow operation. I have choose with some syntax here. I have if. Now I'm saying this if returns one or two objects depending on the evaluation of an expression. So this is the if in this report. So program flow, I'll click on if. Here they're saying a set expression for hidden. So if, what is our field? I come back here to field. If show totals. So if show totals, given that this is a Boolean, yeah, I don't need to say if it is equal to true or if it is equal to false. That alone will, if it is true, if I just put it like that, or you can do equals if it is equals to true, or even if I do like that, if show totals, never if it is true because it is a Boolean, then what do I want to do? Should I hide show set expression for hidden? So if it is show totals, should it be hidden? Set expression for hidden. If it is show totals, then don't hide. Should it be true? Yes. So that is my expression. We are going to come back and see, and we revise it again. But let me click OK. I save this, close. Come back here. So if I print my report, if I don't take it show totals, will it show or not? It shouldn't show. So if I click preview, it is showing. Let me try again. If I tick this and I click preview, it is not showing. Yeah, so it means our expression has a problem. So it is doing the reverse. Yeah? So I can go back to my layout, then come here, row visibility, click here. If this is true, then if you've ticked, should I hide? No, you shouldn't hide. So it should be false, isn't it? Else it will be true. Do you get this? It's quite confusing. Set expression for hidden. So if show totals is ticked, should we hide or we shouldn't hide? We shouldn't, isn't it? So that's why we're saying false. If show expression is true, then don't hide. Else, hide. So, but in most cases, once I see something doing reverse, I just come there and I interchange. So now in your assignment, I want you to make the average field optional by a Boolean. So if I come here and I click this, show totals, if I click preview, I've not ticked it. So I don't see the what? The totals. Then if I come here and I do this and I click preview, I can now see my what? Yes, you can. And I want you to do that in your assignment. Either on the pre-data item, you can simply say show totals is equal to what? Remember the default value for Booleans is false. So in the pre-data item, you can set show totals to be true, and as a default to it will be true, it will always be ticked. Now, how is this applicable? You may find an example of our students. We have subjects have paper 1, paper 2, and paper what, isn't it? So you may have all those marks, but in most cases, you may design a report showing now the details of paper 1, paper 2, then English paper 1, paper 2, then you can also say if somebody does not click show details, I should only see the summations. But that will be too much work for you to do. But if you can do the short hide everything, it means you can also do any of that case. So that can be a good area to apply this knowledge. You can have showing details and things like that. You show them, okay, this is man, and this man came because he got a D1 here and a D2 here, and then this is this. And that can all be achieved on the report. Now, the assignments, we are going to read that PDF for reports. We are going to try out demo. I don't know whether you first read, then you do this, or you first do this, then you read, whichever way works for you. I want you to try out demo number 6. It is demo on page 6 in the reports PDF. Then you also do that demo on page 10. Then there's another demo on page 15. Then there's a demo on page 23. And as you do these demos, you'll find that they are talking about everything that we've gone through here. So they will be easier for you. Then I'm going to give each one of you an assignment. So Gilbert, you will find out how do we use interactive sorting on reports. And then Grace, you will tell us how we can use a chart on the report. And then Emmanuel will tell us how to use a matrix report, how to design a matrix report. Maybe just to give you some information about the matrix report, is that you can have your subjects as columns, okay? Then your students as names. And that one is not documented anywhere, but just to give you just a glimpse, not something very. I can have here my message is stored in the square line, isn't it? Then here I can have the subject name. I don't have a field for student number. Let me just copy this same report, yeah. So because I don't want to repeat what I've done, so I'll just make it one. Let me call it score per subject, okay? A score per subject, or score per student. Anyway, we shall see what it does. If I come here to the layout, I'm going to get rid of this. Now for a matrix report, instead of creating a new one, a new table, you create a what? A new matrix. And now for this, I can have my student's full name. Then I can have my subject name this side. We have the field for subject. And then here I can have the marks, okay? You can have the marks. So I'll just put some headers there, then save this. So if I go back to my reports, no, it's not this one. We have not pinned this. I'll just run it from here. Okay. So I want you to do research about that. How, in case I have students here, how can I have, this is just a simple scenario. You can see this person is doing computer. Now English is this, math is this, okay? I want to come up with a very good report. Then we can have, if I add another subject, yeah, it automatically come here. You get it? So that is a matrix report. So in most cases, class teachers may request you to have such a report. As you score this, can you come up with, I have my students down, and then I have my scores also going the other side. Then people online, I will look for demos for you. So here we have somebody doing matrix, another one interactive sorting, another person will add a chart. We want to search which subject is best performed, something like that. I think it will. Okay, I think you just come up with something that I don't know what to think of now, but just come up with something. I'll be glad if you can share with me those reports, both in PDF format and the objects. Yeah? So here you can send to PDF. Okay. You can send to what? So in the email attachment, I want you to, after designing your report, you share with me the PDFs. And now XML reports, I'm not going to look at those, but I want you to read. Yeah, I want you to read XML reports over the weekend. But we talked about XML reports when we are starting. They are used to read, to import data in the system or export data. Just a simple scenario. If I come here and I click new, okay, I'm under XML reports. If I click new, I can create a node. I can call this is the root node. And then here, I can specify, okay, this is my root node. Then under the root node, I can have elements, and I can have a table here. Maybe this is my student table. And then I have a student here. I need to indent this. I can also do the relationships we had in case I have more than one table. Then I can add fields. I can add student number. This is another field. Student name. And I can also add another field for last name. So here I can call this number, first name, and last name. Let me just try also to indent this. So if I save this, 50,000. This is XML. Let me say student XML report. So even XML, we have properties where you can specify which format of data do you want to do. So I can say this is XML data. And then here I have the format, which is also XML. You read about the different formats. And then I have the direction. An XML can import data, it can export, or it can do both. Okay. So those are some of the properties of XML ports. If I come here to my 50,000 and I run my XML, so this is both. So I have import or export. So if I click OK, do you want to save this? Let me just open and I see how it looks like. So it is opening in this, but it can also open in TXT. So now there are some systems whereby you may find that they want to consume such data in XML. Yeah. So you can design an XML report, then share the XML report with them so that they can now consume. They can read data from that. Those are the tags we have and everything. You can also read data from CSV. So not today, but over the weekend, if you get some time, I want you to see how XML bots work, how you can design one that can import a CSV file, okay? Because things like bank statements, a bank can give you statements in CSV, and this statement can have different fields. Now, based on those fields, a client may tell you that we don't want to recapture these when we are doing our bank reconciliation. We want to import them. So you design for them. You can design an XML code that does the importation. So for that, you will read through. There's a book for that, and I think I shared it. Then there's also code units. Is on another PDF. So for XML, we have code units here. So we've looked at code units somehow. How we declare local variables, how we do functions in code units. So we've looked at these. Temporary tables, these ones, we've not looked at them, but we shall look at them later on. Then we've seen at triggers, okay? Documentary triggers, developers can add optional information about the code, such as the purpose of the code unit, the version number, and more. That can be put in the documentation trigger. Then here they are telling you how to use code units. We've seen in our exercise, code units.function name, how you can call a what? A code unit. So here they are exploring. You can also, if you don't have a function and you do code units.run, it will run code that is on the on-run trigger of the code unit. So you also read this on your own. And then here they are exploring some a code unit that sends email notifications. This is one of the code units that we normally use. So you also read through that. Yes. 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 Do you know how to set up SMTP? You can use your Gmail account to set up SMTP. But we shall see all that as we explore. So I want you to read through the code unit yourself. I want you to read through the XML codes. Okay. So you read through this. So this will show you how you can import data in different formats. Then I want you to read through. We've gone through the reports. So this one will be easier because we've almost tackled everything, but we'll read through it. Ropes, what? Then I also want you to read through this one. I won't teach you. This one you will teach me. This is .NET Framework interoperability, how you use .NET Framework functions and now. So this one you will read through, and at a later stage we shall get some time and you also teach me .NET. So the things that you're going to teach me, this chapter, you will teach me, we shall get some time and you teach me. And then also queries, yeah? You will read queries on your own. Queries, maybe just for queries, in case you want to retrieve data from more than one table, you can use a query. If I come here to my home page, this graph that you see is consuming data from a query. Okay, it is consuming data from a query. So you will read through that. You read through this chapter, and you see how you can design queries. This one you also teach me. So over the weekend, I want you to read through all those. Now, next week, we shall move now to This has been the introduction to Seaside. Okay, we look at, this has been an introduction. Now, next week, we are now going to design a serious application, okay? If we are going to design a very serious application, leave alone this has been a beginner's application that we've been designed. Next week, I want to design a serious application that is going to, we are going to see how you can write code within the standard code. Right now, we've not been adding our code in the standard code. We've been writing our own code, but there are scenarios whereby you want to insert a modification in standard code. You want to add an additional field on the customer list, on the customer table. So those are some of the things we're going to look at next week. And by the end of next week, we shall have a very serious application that we can even give to a client and they use. So that is the target of next week. But to get there, you must understand this, because now we are also going to get the knowledge we've captured this week to come up with that serious application. Yeah, it will have something to do with students, but this time we shall be managing seminars. Yeah? We shall have a list of seminars. We shall have students. We shall be required to build students. Okay, meaning that our seminar module should talk to the sales invoices. And sales invoices are standard. So we need to come up with a way of how do we now build students. We don't need to design again sales invoices for seminars. We can use the existing sales invoice. So we shall come up with something like that. But before we reach there, I want you to ensure that you read through all this. You read through everything that we've covered this week, understand it very well. Then next week, we are going to now start a serious development of a full application. Then after next week, we shall now go to a totally new different platform called R. And in that week, I will require you must have Business Central installed. I don't know whether you have it installed on your computers. I don't know which version you have. 160. Now we shall be, if you realize that Business Central, we don't have a development environment there, isn't it? We don't, I don't know how you upload the license. Did you know how to upload the license to Business Central? Yes, you use PowerShell, yeah? So we shall now be looking at, that will be our third week. Now, after that third week, I will congratulate you, and that will be the end of development, and you will be now ready to fly on your own. You will reach there, in that side, they will give you task. I will behave as if I don't know you, and now you will start sweating on your own. So let me. Reports. No, VS Code is a text editor, isn't it? So you want to be in position to design layout using a text editor. We use Visual Studio. You can use Visual Studio or the report builder. I may have used the report builder because I didn't have Visual Studio installed. We have some files on the server. Maybe I will. But you see, you don't need to download all the modules, because it has mobile development, it has Xamarin, it has quite a number of things. I don't know whether you are downloading all those workloads or you are focusing on a few. Okay, for now, let us use the report builder. I will share with you Visual Studio later on. But you can use report builder to come up with those reports. You know how to set that property. Did you see me how I did that? Was it tools options? Here, use report builder, turn it to yes, so that you use the report builder that is already installed with now. Yeah. So that's it for today. I wish you a nice day. See you next